All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostle elders, the great millstone who rule well. And salutations to all you brothers out there pushing this word in love, truth, sincerity, and humility. Once again, it's Brother Shati from the Chicago camp coming back to you with what I hope is another quick and edifying. Sit down. And I know as this divine script comes to an end, the things that we're going to go through is only going to increase. And I know brothers are catching the flux right now, you know, from work, baby mamas. We got brothers going to the spirit world. The Lord's taking brothers, mothers and fathers and very close dear ones to the spirit world. And many other things that are happening, and brothers are worn out. I understand. I get it. My ass is worn out too. But, we just got to keep pushing. All right. And as the scripture tells us, the Lord wouldn't do this. The Lord is not going to give us more than what we can handle. Because that wouldn't be fair if the Lord actually did something like that. And we know the Lord is all about being fair and balanced. Let's see, that is in where is that? Let me put it on pause and find it. 1 Corinthians 10 and 13. There have no temptation taking you, but such as common to man. Meaning that there's nothing you're going to go through in this life that another man hasn't gone through, that Yahweh Shai hasn't gone through, or little do you know what you have gone through in previous lifetimes. Okay? All right, there is no new thing under the sun. It says, but God is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that you are able. All right. If you can only bench press 100 pounds, the Lord's not going to give you 400 pounds to bench press. All right. That's just being unreasonable. And it says, but will with the temptation also make a way to escape that ye may be able to bear it. All right. Because you have to remember, the Lord said that He said that my strength is made it's in the New Testament. I know that, sir. 2 Corinthians 12 and 9. Okay. And it says, and he said unto me, my grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Right. Yahweh Shai shines the brightest when we're going through our hardest battles. Okay. Yahweh Bashim Shai comes through the most clutch. Okay. When we think that the world is against us and everything is just happening and hitting us all at the same time. Hey, that's when Yahweh Shai shines the most. Because when you get through these different hardships in your life, you like, man, I don't know how I got through it, but I did. But I do know one thing, the Lord was with me the whole time. Because I'm still here, I got my right mind, and I'm still praising the Lord. Because you have to remember, if you're going through all this affliction Hey man, the Lord loves you because the scripture tells us whom the Lord loves, he chastises. Maybe there's an E on the end of that. Mm, mm. Why can I not find it? Let me find it real quick. Hebrews 12 and 5, it says, and ye have forgotten the exhortation which speaketh unto you as unto children. My son, despise thou the chastening of the Lord. Don't get disgruntled. Don't get upset and angry when you're going through all these different types of trials and tribulations, because it just proves that the Lord loves you. All right. And when you're going through this, as we read earlier, hey, his strength is made perfect in weakness. When you at your lowest and think you can't do any more to stand, the Lord's going to stand for you and give you the strength to stand. Okay. It says, my son, despise not thou the chastening of the Lord, nor faint when thou art rebuked of him. For whom the Lord loveth, he chastises and scourges every son whom he receiveth. So if you getting chastised, the Lord loves you, because all this chastisement is making us a more perfect man. A perfect man that can be acceptable for the Lord, as spoken of. Let's just do adversity. Second Ezra 2, and I'm going to start at 4. And it says, whatever is brought upon thee, the trials and tribulations, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a low estate. For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. All right. So all the things that we're going through, the Lord is trying to shape us into a more perfect man that's acceptable to him. But the only way that can happen is if we go through the muck, if we go through the down times, when we lose mothers, when we lose fathers, when we lose best friends, when we lose jobs, when we lose that girl that we really love. All right. When we have to give up that big career opportunity, when we have to give up money, when you have to sacrifice the world to follow the Lord, okay? We have to go, the Lord has to make us go through all those things so we can be a more perfect person. And as we read in there, it says, take cheerfully. Okay, we got to have that Job spirit on us when it says, when he got all that bad news. Let's see, let's see. Because Job was in the right spirit. Because at the end of the day, we all know that the Lord is the giver of all things. Okay, this is Job 1. And I'm going to start at 17 just so you can get the context of it. And it says, while he was yet speaking, there came also another and said, the Chaldeans made out 3 bands and fell upon the camels and have carried them away, yea, and slain the servants with the edge of the sword. And I only am escaped alone to tell thee. While he was yet speaking, there came also another and said, thy sons and thy daughters were eating and drinking wine in the eldest brother's house. And behold, there came a great wind from the wilderness and smote the 4 corners of the house, and it fell upon the young men, and they are dead. And I only am escaped alone to tell thee. All right. Because when you read before this, it goes through a whole gambit of things that Job lost. It pretty much said all these messengers came back to tell Job, look, dude, you just lost everything. Okay. You lost your children, you lost your money, you lost your cattle, you lost your land. You lost it all, man. And then guess what happened? It says, then Job arose and rent his mantle and shaved his head and fell down upon the ground and worshipped. It said, naked came I out of my mother's womb, and naked shall I return thither. The Lord gave, and the Lord hath taken away. Blessed be the name of Yahweh. And that's the spirit we got to be in when we going through all these hard times. We got to be in that spirit of Job. Like, hey, the Lord gave it to me. The Lord took it away. But we all know when the Lord takes things away, okay, ultimately it's for our good. Because you have to remember the scripture, all things work to the good for those that love the Lord. So even when bad shit happens to us, it's all for the good. So brothers, I know you're going to get down. I know y'all catching hell right now, but you got to keep pushing forward. Be in that Job spirit. Like regardless of whatever happens to me, whatever you allow Satan to throw at me, I'm going to still stand and I'm going to praise your name. I'm going to exalt your name. Call Halayim Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Because as you tell us, we're being punished less than what our iniquities deserve. So I'm going to praise your holy name until my end or the end. So that's all I wanted to say on this. I hope you all were edified. Till the next time, we're going to say shalom.